Welcome to week 2 of Merry Mini. This week we're working on the Snowflake Block, and last week we worked on the Poinsettia Block. All you have to do is look in the description and you will get your free pattern. This is a 5-part series that's a mystery quilt along. And what you need is a layer cake, 1.5 yards background, half a yard binding, and what I'm going to be showing you today is kind of just how I would really do it in my sewing room, all the way from cutting to pressing to piecing, all of the things that I would do and all of my little shortcuts. And we're going to be posting videos every Tuesday. Make sure to subscribe to the Fat Quarter Shop YouTube channel. Click the bell to be notified when we have a new video, and like this video. So let's get started. Okay, so one thing that I'm doing different from the pattern is anytime I make half square triangles, if it's Fat Quarter Shop pattern, something in a book, no matter what it is, I always use triangle paper. Even if I don't have the right size, I use triangle paper and cut it down. So if I look in here, I've got a triangle paper with C and F, and I already looked at that before I started cutting. And the unfinished is 2 3/4. So that means the finish would be 2 1/4. So we don't have that size yet, but we will have that size soon. So I'm gonna use 2 1/2 inch and then trim it down because triangle paper is my favorite thing and triangles on a roll is also my favorite. So for my C and F, I'm gonna do 2 squares of the 2 1/2 inch size. So I know for my pattern I need 2. So I'm just going to cut 2 squares off. Put my fabrics right sides together. This is just whatever's left over. Put this on, and then when I go to the sewing machine and start piecing everything, this will just be ready to go. So I have everything cut. Now I'm going to go ahead and lay stuff out on my design board so that I can go straight to my sewing machine and just chain piece. So I'm just going to follow my pattern. And now I've got enough to go to my sewing machine. So now I'm using triangle paper, so I have lowered my stitch length to 1.5. So with triangle paper, you stitch directly on the dotted line, and then you trim on the solid line. So I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to start ironing all our pieces and then laying it back out on the design board so we can go back and chain piece some more. I'm going to pull the paper off. If you kind of crease it right at the little corner and just pull, it comes right off. And that's why I like triangles on a roll, because the paper's nice and thin. Okay, so now we're going to start ironing. And I'm just going to press according to the free pattern that you can find in the description below. And you can see that when I chain piece these, I kept them together as like a little set of two. So it'll be really easy when I go back to the sewing machine. I won't put them in the wrong place because they just stayed right in the order they were in. Now we have everything ironed, so we're going to come back over here, and the first thing I'm going to do is trim these down to 2.75. So I'm just going to use a 3.5-inch ruler. Put the diagonal right on there, trim it down to 2.75. It's going to give you this perfect square. Okay, so now I have everything ready to go. I'm going to come back and we're going to kind of look at what we need to do next. Have everything pinned before I go to the sewing machine and chain piece some more. And the point of this video is, number one, to give you a free Christmas quilt. It could also be, it doesn't have to be Christmas, you can do whatever you want with it, but to kind of show you real-time different time-saving techniques, see what I do, see if any of these things are things you could do at your house to help you be a faster sewer if that's something you're interested in. Okay, so I've got all my next steps laid out on my design board, and we're gonna go stitch them together. So now I'm just going to press. If you press according to the pattern, all of your seams will nest, and that will make your block look nice and flat with no bulky seams in the back. Now all we have to do is finish this little star that I've already started in the center, and then we can start assembling the block. So we are halfway there. Okay, so now we've got the star that goes in the center, and if we wanted to save even more time, we could start assembling the top and the bottom of the row, so we're going to do that. I just like to do a lot at one time. So let's see if I've got this going right. So you've got your longer pieces on the outside, your navy on the inside. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and not only pin the star in place, I'm going to pin some of these outer pieces, and so we can already have that done. I will save time anywhere and any way I can, as you can see. And ta-da, the seams nest. So I'm going to pin right in that intersection. I love it when your seams nest, and I really don't like working with patterns that don't have arrows because I don't want to have to think. I don't want to have to like do all that math. So that's why we do it for you guys. And one thing that I do think helps is if you pin before you go to your sewing machine, then you don't have to think, and then things don't get kind of turned around. I find if I don't pin before I go to my sewing machine, everything kind of ends up on the wrong side. So let's go start sewing. We've got our outside rows done, and I double check the bigger pieces on the outside, the navy on the inside. That's looking good. Now I just have to sew these together, and I will go ahead and pin both sides. They're far enough apart to where I can sew them all at one time and then press it all at one time. And so here, all we have to do is add the top and the bottom, and this has a lot of space between it for pressing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put both on at the same time, because when I come back, I will have plenty of room to iron and not mess up my other piece. So I'm gonna pin both, and we are gonna be done with block 2. So all we have is one seam left, And I've been timing myself, and each of these blocks is taking about an hour. That includes all this filming time. So that's a great amount of time. You can just do 1 hour a week for 4 weeks and have a cute Christmas quilt. So here we go with our snowflake block. This is block 2. I'm going to trim it down a little bit on the side like I did on block 1. And here is block 1. These are both free patterns from Fat Quarter Shop. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and I cannot wait to see all of the stuff that you're going to sew along with us. And join us next Tuesday for block 3.